Hello, the rare gems. Silence isn't empty. It's full of answers. Sigma females aren't just private, they're strategic. They don't withhold information because they're secretive, but because they understand the power of knowing more than they say. In a world where people overshare, seek attention, and expose their weaknesses without a second thought, Sigma females operate differently. They know that some truths aren't meant to be spoken, only understood. If you've ever felt misunderstood, not because you're lost, but because you see things others don't, you're not alone. If you choose solitude over shallow connections, if you can sense people's real intentions before they even speak, if you've mastered the art of walking away without looking back, these aren't flaws. They're signs of strength, intelligence, and self-respect. People may call you distant, cold, or unapproachable, but that's only because they don't know what it means to move with quiet confidence. Let them assume, let them wonder. You don't owe explanations to anyone. This isn't about being mysterious for the sake of it. It's about control. You don't share everything because you understand the value of keeping certain things to yourself. And that is what sets you apart. Here are 10 things a Sigma female will never tell anyone. Things that shape her power, protect her peace, and keep her one step ahead. Let's get started. The rare gems. Number 1. They've been hurt more times than they let on. Sigma females are known for their strength, their resilience, and their ability to keep moving forward no matter what life throws at them. But what most people don't see is the depth of the scars they carry. Despite their composed and unshakable exterior, Sigma females have been burned more times than they'll ever admit. They've trusted people who didn't deserve it, believed in promises that were broken, and invested in relationships that ultimately left them empty. These wounds, though buried deep, shape the way they approach the world. It's not that they've given up on people, it's that they've learned to protect themselves from getting hurt again. Over time, they've built walls, not out of bitterness, but out of necessity. Those walls are a quiet, protective mechanism, carefully constructed to guard their hearts and minds. They know the pain of betrayal all too well, and while they may never voice it, they've learned that in order to protect their peace, they can't afford to let everyone in. But here's the thing. Those walls don't make them cold, they make them wise. They've learned that true vulnerability isn't something to share lightly. It's not a weakness, it's a strength. And with each painful experience, they've become experts at recognizing who's worth their time and energy and who isn't. So when you see a Sigma female standing tall, unaffected by the chaos around her, know that it's not because she hasn't felt the pain. It's because she's faced it, learned from it, and built herself up again. Her walls aren't a sign of emotional distance. They're a symbol of her growth, her wisdom, and her unbreakable will. Number 2. She's already planned an exit strategy for everything. Most people walk into situations hoping for the best. Sigma females. They walk in knowing exactly how they'll walk out if necessary. It's not paranoia, it's intelligence. It's not a lack of commitment, it's control. A Sigma female never enters a job, a relationship, or even a conversation without mapping out her options. She sees life like a chessboard. Every move has consequences, and every situation has an expiration date. Even in a simple social gathering, she already knows where the exits are, how long she's willing to stay, and what excuse she'll use if she needs to leave. And here's the part most people don't understand. This doesn't mean she's emotionally detached or unreliable. It just means she refuses to be trapped. She's not the type to stay in a dead-end relationship just because she's invested time. She won't stay in a toxic workplace just because she's comfortable. She won't keep friendships that drain her just because of history. The moment something stops serving her growth, she's already 3 steps ahead, making her exit, calmly, without chaos, without looking back. But don't mistake this mindset for fear or avoidance. A Sigma female can be deeply committed, fiercely loyal, and incredibly invested in what she loves. The difference? Her loyalty is never blind. She knows that anything can change, people, circumstances, opportunities, and she prepares accordingly. That's not negativity, that's wisdom. Her exit strategies aren't desperate escape plans, they're silent reminders that she's in control of her own life. She doesn't beg for respect, wait for people to change, or cling to situations out of fear. If something no longer aligns with her values, she walks away with her dignity intact. Not because she's weak, but because she refuses to stay where she doesn't belong. That's the Sigma female's secret weapon. She's never stuck, because she never allows herself to be. Number 3, she knows exactly who's lying and lets them think she doesn't. Most people assume deception works as long as no one calls it out. But a Sigma female, she sees through lies the moment they leave someone's lips. It's not magic. It's her sharp intuition, pattern recognition, and an almost eerie ability to read between the lines, but instead of confronting the liar right away, she does something far more powerful. She lets them think they're fooling her. Why? Because calling out a liar too soon only gives them a chance to cover their tracks. Instead, she watches. She listens. She lets them build their web of lies, lets them believe they're winning, while she silently collects evidence. Every inconsistency, every contradiction, every slip-up, they all pile up, and she takes note of them all. She's patient because she knows that liars always expose themselves if given enough time. They forget details, contradict their own stories, or let their masks slip when they think no one's watching. And when the moment is right, she makes her move. Not with anger, not with drama, but with cold, undeniable truth. By the time they realize she knew all along, it's too late. Their credibility is gone. Their manipulation has backfired. And worst of all, they've lost the one thing they never even realized they were being tested for, her respect. A Sigma female doesn't waste time arguing with liars. She doesn't beg for honesty or play childish games. She simply steps back, lets the truth unfold, and watches as they destroy their own credibility. Because in the end, the greatest downfall of a liar isn't being caught, it's being exposed by their own words. Number 4, she's capable of ruthless logic when necessary. A Sigma female may have a kind heart, but don't mistake that for weakness. When it's time to make hard decisions, emotions don't get the final say. Logic does. She understands that life isn't a fairy tale where everyone wins. Sometimes making the right choice means being the villain in someone else's story, and she's at peace with that. She doesn't let guilt trap her in places she no longer belongs. If a relationship turns toxic, she'll walk away even if it hurts. If a job no longer serves her growth, she'll quit even if it's uncomfortable. If someone tries to manipulate her, she'll cut them off, no second chances given. She doesn't wait around hoping things will get better. She makes decisions based on facts, not wishful thinking. Most people struggle to separate their emotions from their choices, afraid of disappointing others or being judged. A Sigma female? She knows that doing what's necessary often means upsetting people. And if the price of staying true to herself is being labeled cold or ruthless, so be it. She's not heartless, far from it, but she refuses to let emotions cloud her judgment when tough calls need to be made. She'll always choose what's right over what's easy, even if it means burning bridges, walking alone, or being misunderstood. That's what sets her apart. She doesn't make choices to be liked, she makes them to be free. At number 5, she feels things deeply, but processes alone. People mistake her for cold, detached, or even unfeeling, but they couldn't be more wrong. A Sigma female feels everything: joy, pain, love, disappointment, just as intensely as anyone else, if not more. The difference? She doesn't put her emotions on display for the world to see. While others vent their frustrations on social media, cry on shoulders, or seek validation from friends, she turns inward. She processes everything in solitude, away from prying eyes and unsolicited opinions. When she's hurt, she doesn't make a scene. When she's grieving, she doesn't broadcast it. When she's overjoyed, she doesn't need an audience to confirm it's real. This isn't about pride or avoidance, it's about control. She knows that emotions are powerful, and if handled carelessly, they can be used against her. People twist words, exploit vulnerabilities, and project their own biases onto situations they don't fully understand. The Sigma female refuses to let anyone distort or weaponize what she's feeling, so she grieves alone, she celebrates alone, she heals alone. Not because she doesn't trust anyone, but because she trusts herself the most. She knows that solitude gives her the clarity she needs to process things honestly, without outside noise influencing her perception. And when she does return to the world, she comes back stronger. No emotional baggage spilling over, no unresolved feelings demanding attention, just a quiet resilience that others can't quite figure out. They wonder how she moves through life so unshaken, never realizing the storms she's already faced in silence. To the outside world, she may seem unreadable, even indifferent. But beneath that composed exterior lies a heart that feels deeply. She just chooses to protect it in ways most people never will. Number 6. She doesn't just observe, she remembers. While most people are too busy formulating their next response, a Sigma female isn't just listening, she's absorbing. Every word, every glance, every pause between sentences. She notices it all. Most people speak without thinking, not realizing that the way they behave in a conversation reveals more than their words ever could. But she catches it all, and she remembers. She doesn't just hear what you say, she listens to understand. The way you phrase things, the contradictions in your story, the nervous shifts in your tone, they all matter to her. Every subtle detail gets filed away in the back of her mind, not for the sake of gossip, but for a deeper understanding of who you really are. She isn't looking for drama, nor is she waiting for an opportunity to strike. But when the time comes, when the truth finally needs to be uncovered or a decision has to be made, those details surface. And when they do, they're often more accurate than what's been said aloud. People assume that they can talk their way out of things, that they can say one thing and do another without consequences. But she doesn't forget. Whether it's a promise you made or a pattern you've shown, she will remember. And when it counts, when it matters most, she'll bring it up, not to manipulate, but to make an informed decision. This ability makes her intimidating. Most people think they can hide things from her, assume that she's only listening in the moment. What they don't realize is that she's keeping track of everything, storing it away for future reference. So, be careful what you say around her. She might seem like she's just casually nodding along, but inside, she's already cataloging your words. And one day, those words may come back to challenge everything you thought you knew about her. Number 7. She can be surrounded by people and still feel like an outsider. On the surface, a Sigma female might seem perfectly at ease in social settings. She's charming when she needs to be, and she can hold her own in conversations. But beneath that calm, confident exterior, she often feels like an outsider, even when she's surrounded by people. It's not that she doesn't belong. It's not that she's incapable of connecting. The truth is, she's simply wired differently. While others are caught up in the small talk, the fleeting gossip, or the drama of group dynamics, she's always observing, always analyzing. She can hear the words people say, but she's more interested in what they don't say, the unspoken motives, the hidden tensions, the subtle undercurrents in the room. It's not loneliness that drives this feeling, but a deep sense of self-awareness. She's keenly aware of her own thoughts, of how she processes the world, and how it often doesn't align with the crowd. While others might find comfort in fitting in, she finds peace in standing apart. She doesn't need the validation of others to feel complete. She's already whole, and that's what sets her apart. She's comfortable in her own company, finding fulfillment in her mind, in her ideas, and in her ability to think critically. So even if the room is filled with people, she'll still feel like she's standing outside looking in. Not because she doesn't want to belong, but because her mind is always working, always examining, always seeing the world in ways others don't. In a way, this makes her a silent observer of humanity, never fully part of the crowd, but always understanding it. And that's why she'll never truly be swayed by groupthink or the opinions of others. She's learned to trust her own perspective, and it's something that will always set her apart. At number 8. They often feel like they're playing a role. Despite their ability to thrive in social settings or at work, Sigma females often feel like they're living a double life. On the outside, they seem to play the part everyone expects them to, whether it's the professional colleague, the social butterfly, or the calm and collected friend. But on the inside, they're yearning for more. feeling like they're just a performer in a role they didn't write. It's not that they're pretending to be someone they're not. It's just that they have mastered the art of fitting into the spaces around them. They know how to blend in, how to make others feel comfortable, and how to navigate the expectations placed on them. But all the while, there's a part of them that feels trapped by these roles, constantly searching for the moment when they can break free from the expectations and show the world who they truly are. In many ways, this duality becomes second nature. They've learned to play the role, to follow the script everyone else is reading from. But the truth is, Sigma females are anything but one-dimensional. They feel the pull of their own individuality, a desire to step outside the box that others have created for them. They often wonder if people would still accept them if they stopped pretending, if they stopped playing the role that makes everyone comfortable. They crave authenticity, but they know it's a rare luxury in a world full of labels and predefined molds. So, while others see the confident, composed woman in front of them, Sigma females are often struggling beneath the surface, longing for the chance to break free from the performance. And when that moment comes, you'll see a version of her that no one expected, one that's authentic, raw, and unapologetically herself. Number 9. They regret nothing except wasted time. Sigma females don't dwell on the past or waste time lamenting mistakes. They're too focused on the present and the future to get bogged down by what's already done. But if there's one thing that truly eats at them, it's wasted time, not mistakes, not wrong decisions, but time spent on things, people, or projects that don't align with their values. They value their time more than anything. It's the one resource they can never get back, and they're incredibly discerning about how it's spent. They don't want to invest energy into relationships that drain them, careers that don't fulfill them, or goals that don't reflect their true desires. They'll walk away from things that don't align with their purpose, even if it means facing discomfort in the short term. It's not that they regret their past choices, they just wish they hadn't wasted so much time on things that didn't truly matter. They've learned the hard way that time spent in the wrong places can take away from what they could be building. They know better now, and they're committed to spending their days in ways that reflect their values and their long-term vision. While others might regret not taking that chance or making that move, Sigma females are usually more concerned with what they could have accomplished if they hadn't wasted precious hours on people or projects that didn't serve them. Time is their most valuable asset, and they protect it fiercely. So don't expect to see them lingering in situations that don't serve them. When they make a decision, it's often because they're prioritizing their time and energy for something far more meaningful. Because for a Sigma female, the only thing worth regretting is not using time wisely. At number 10, Sigma. Females can be sensitive, but they'll never show it. Sigma females have an emotional depth that many people don't realize. Beneath their composed and strong exterior, they feel deeply. Their emotional intelligence is incredibly high, allowing them to understand and navigate their own emotions, as well as those of others. They can pick up on subtleties, see through facades, and sense what's really going on in a room. However, despite their sensitivity, they rarely show it. They've learned the hard way that showing vulnerability can sometimes be seen as a weakness, and they won't allow themselves to be perceived that way. For a Sigma female, keeping her emotions in check is a survival strategy. She understands the value of emotional control and knows that expressing too much vulnerability can leave her open to manipulation or judgment. This doesn't mean she's emotionless, far from it. It means she's learned to protect her inner world. Sigma females are selective about who they let in, choosing only those who have earned their trust. They're fully aware that most people won't understand their depth or the reasons behind their actions. So, while they can be incredibly sensitive, they won't let anyone see it. Instead, they'll process their emotions privately, using their high emotional intelligence to navigate the situation without allowing anyone to exploit their feelings. For a Sigma female, showing too much emotion isn't a sign of weakness. It's just a personal choice to keep her power intact. She controls her vulnerability, never allowing it to control her. Another significant thing Sigma females won't tell you. She dissects people's weaknesses instantly. Some people need time to figure others out. A Sigma female, she sees through people the moment they walk into a room. Not because she's trying to manipulate anyone, but because her mind is wired for pattern recognition. Every hesitation, every over-explanation, every subtle shift in tone, it all tells a story. She notices the cracks people try to hide, insecurity masked as arrogance, desperation disguised as confidence, hidden motives lurking beneath charm. She picks up on it all, not through magic, but through years of quiet observation. While others focus on what's being said, she pays attention to what isn't. The nervous laughter, the forced enthusiasm, the small inconsistencies in someone's story. But here's what makes her different. She doesn't use this information to exploit people. She's not a manipulator. She doesn't play games. Instead, she stores it away, silently. Why? Because knowing who someone truly is helps her decide how close they get to her. It tells her whether they're trustworthy or just putting on a show. And if she senses danger, she won't call it out. She won't warn you. She'll simply adjust her approach. Maybe she keeps things surface level. Maybe she lets you think you're in control while she watches from a distance. Either way, by the time you try to deceive her, she already knows exactly who she's dealing with. This ability makes people uncomfortable. They don't understand how she can be so calm, so unreadable, so impossible to fool. But the truth is, she doesn't need to expose anyone. Most people expose themselves in time. She just makes sure she's paying attention when they do. And if you ever wonder why she treats you a certain way, distant, guarded, or completely indifferent, know this. She's already seen what you're trying to hide. Conclusion. Embrace the unseen power of Sigma females. Sigma females are often misunderstood because they don't follow the typical paths that society expects them to. But the truth is, their power lies in the very things they don't say out loud. From their quiet resilience to their ability to navigate the world on their own terms, Sigma females are not bound by the conventional rules of behavior or love. They thrive in solitude, trust their instincts, and move through life with a deep understanding of themselves and the world around them. So, to every Sigma female out there, embrace the strength in your silence. The world might not always understand you, but that's not your problem. You're built to be different, to think outside the box, and to rise above the noise. Your independence, your emotional depth, your strategic mind, these are the qualities that make you unstoppable. Remember, the things you don't say are often your greatest strengths. You don't need to explain yourself to anyone. Your path is uniquely yours, and you've already proven that you're capable of walking it with grace, power, and intelligence. Trust yourself, and know that your quiet confidence will always speak louder than words ever could. So keep being unapologetically you. You are Sigma, strong, insightful, and capable of achieving greatness on your own terms. The world may not always understand your methods, but they will always be forced to respect your results. Thanks for watching The Rare Gems. See you in our next video. Bye for now, and God bless.